Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our 30-day English listening challenge. Today we're talking about Up Asterisk, a movie that looks like a colorful adventure, but underneath all those balloons is a surprisingly emotional story.
Absolutely. And that is exactly where Carl Fredricksen's story begins. After losing Ellie, Carl is living alone in the house they shared. He has spent years imagining one big adventure, but now he feels stuck. One useful expression is, it's never too late. We use it when we want to say that someone can still change their life or try something new, even after many years.
I love that expression for this movie because Carl thinks his opportunity has already passed. He decides to attach thousands of balloons to his house and fly it to Paradise Falls, the place he and Ellie dreamed about visiting. Another useful phrase is, I made a promise. We use it when we tell someone that we committed ourselves to doing something.
And Carl's plan becomes much more complicated when he discovers Russell, a young wilderness explorer, accidentally traveling with him. Carl clearly wants to be alone, but Russell needs help. That gives us a very natural expression. What are you doing here? We use it when someone appears somewhere unexpectedly.
Russell may be young, but he brings a lot of energy into Carl's quiet world. At first, Carl sees him as a problem, but little by little, their relationship changes. Russell wants to earn his final badge, while Carl wants to complete his journey.
And that's one of the most interesting things about Up. The adventure is not really about getting the house to Paradise Falls. It is about Carl learning that moving forward does not mean forgetting Ellie. A useful phrase here is, I have to move on. It can be difficult to say, but it means accepting that something has changed and continuing with your life.
Exactly. The movie shows that memories can stay with us without stopping us from having new experiences. Carl starts the story holding tightly to the past, but his friendship with Russell gives him a reason to care about the present.
So while you watch Up, listen for phrases connected to promises, change, friendship, and new beginnings. And ask yourself, if you were Carl, would you be brave enough to leave your old life behind and start a new adventure?
That's a great question to take into the movie. Let's listen, learn, and see where this journey takes us. But Carl's journey becomes even more meaningful when he realizes that the promise he made to Ellie was never really about reaching one particular place. For years, he believed that completing the trip to Paradise Falls was the only way to finish their story. But as he experiences this new adventure with Russell, he starts to see that Ellie's life was already full of meaningful moments. A useful expression here is, I understand now. We use it when something finally becomes clear, after a period of confusion.
And Russell helps Carl discover that lesson without even realizing it. He needs someone to guide him, but Carl gradually becomes someone Russell can depend on. Their relationship changes from an unwanted responsibility into a real friendship. Another useful expression is you can count on me. We use it when we promise someone that we will be there for them or that they can trust us.
That phrase fits the movie especially well because Carl spends so much time trying to do everything alone. At first, he thinks being independent means not needing anyone, but the adventure teaches him that accepting another person into your life does not make you weaker. Sometimes, having someone beside you gives you the courage to do things you could never do alone.
And there is another important expression. We need to help him. We use it when we recognize that someone is in trouble and decide that we should do something. Carl eventually stops thinking only about his own goal and starts worrying about Russell and the other characters they meet. Along the way, his priorities change because he has developed real connections with them.
The movie also gives us a beautiful idea about letting go. Carl has spent so much time protecting his memories that he almost forgets to create new ones. When he finally understands what Ellie would have wanted for him, he's able to move forward. The phrase, it's time to let go, can describe that moment. It does not mean forgetting someone or something important. It means accepting change and allowing yourself to continue.
And that is why the ending of Up feels so powerful. Carl does not stop loving Ellie. Instead, he realizes that loving her does not require him to remain trapped in the past. He can remember her, honor their life together, and still build a new future. For English learners, this is a great example of how a simple phrase can carry a much deeper meaning when we understand the story behind it.
So, if you are learning English through asterisk up asterisk, do not only listen for individual words, listen to the emotions behind the expressions. I understand now, you can count on me. We need to help him, and it's time to let go. Are useful because they describe situations that can happen in real life, not just in an animated movie.
Exactly. And maybe that is the biggest lesson Carl learns. An adventure does not have to happen exactly the way you imagined it. Sometimes the most important part is the person you become along the way.
And that's a perfect place to finish today's lesson. Thanks for listening to our asterisk up asterisk episode of the 30-Day English Listening Challenge. Keep listening, keep repeating the expressions, and remember that it's never too late to start a new chapter. See you in the next episode.